If you've seen the last week's episode, I'm sure by now you know that the fishing industry in India is in a decline. But unfortunately, there is no one single villain who can be blamed for everything. Everyone from small scale to large scale fishermen to government policies to consumer demands need to be rectified. So today let's look at some of the very important approaches that needs to be taken to make fishing sustainable and to keep it going.
Trawling is one of the predominant cause of overfishing. Different states have trying to control this operation of trawling in some ways. One of the ways that the state tried to control trawling is by restricting trawling to a trawl zone. It's been observed that for some species of fish, the the small fish, the young ones, come in the very shallow waters for as a nursery ground, and if we trawl in that water, all those young ones, or for that matter the females who come there to lay eggs and which will turn into young ones, will be killed. And so that's why the trawling in very shallow waters is considered as very destructive, and as a result many states have tried to restrict trawling some 5 to 10 kilometers from the coast. For that matter, any other fishing practice which is destructive or which is very large scale like trawling. So for example, purse netting, the big long lining, etc., is not permitted into this very shallow waters. If you Google initiatives like Seafood Watch, etc., which are present in the developed countries, what they started doing is they started labeling the fish which is coming from the stock which is sustainably harvested, and they will started labeling fish which is coming from the stocks which are over harvested as over harvested fish coming from over harvested stocks, and that's why the label was recommending people or fish consumers to avoid them. Now in developed country, this kind of approach of eco-labeling approach becomes relevant because almost all fish which is sold in the developed country is packaged. So there is a packaging material, and there is some place on the fish to put a label on. Other thing is, because of lot of developed countries gets lot of imported fish from all around the world, from the developing countries, from tropic, from developing countries, from temperate region, and so on. As a result, assigning fish to a particular stock which is sustainably harvested or over harvested or etc., becomes relevant. In India, however, this eco-labeling kind of approach has only limited reach. The reason why the most of the fish which is eaten in India, it's caught in India. Second thing is, our fish consumers would like to eat, would like to buy fish very fresh. Generally, the people who eat seafood regularly, they don't go to supermarkets and buy fish which is packaged, but instead of they go to these traditional markets, they want to see the fish, they want to open the gills and check the freshness and so on. As a result, there is no place where you can put a label. So eco-labeling kind of approaches which had some success in developed countries might not work in a place like India. So we all love to eat fish. However, we would like to be responsible about our fish choices as well. So what can we do in order to make our fish choices a little more responsible? First is, avoid eating sharks and groupers. Sharks and groupers are what we call higher trophic level species. That means they are on top of the food chain. They have low growth rates, that means they take longer time to grow and late to mature, and they don't reproduce as much as other fish do. As a result, they are very vulnerable for kind of fishing or the scale of fishing that is happening today. As a result, there is nowhere in India that eating shark or eating grouper can be called as sustainable. Second thing that we can do is minimize our consumption of prawns. Now I know a lot of people love prawns and they are really tasty. However, what we have to realize is the prawns which are caught in the sea are caught mainly by a method which like trawling, which is very destructive. But for catching prawns there are many other fish which also gets caught. They don't have enough market value. As a result, they are thrown back in the sea, and over time their populations start also decreasing. So eating prawns caught by capture fisheries is very harmful. If you are eating prawns which are grown in aquaculture, even though the prawns are grown in aquaculture, they need some kind of food, and this food or the meal for these prawns, or for that matter other fish which are grown in aquaculture, many times come from the fish meal or fish feed, which is basically coming from these these discard fish which are sometimes brought on the shore and sold in the market. In a way, when we are eating aquacultured prawns, etc., we are not kind of helping substituting the trawling, but we are kind of subsidizing the trawling. Third thing is to eat locally. There are lots of local fishermen which are small scale, and they are dependent on fisheries for their livelihood. These fishermen can't go very far, and they don't have that kind of a gear. So whenever we would like to eat fish, we'll try, I mean, if we kind of chose a small scale fisherman caught fish, then it's more useful or more responsible than choosing fish which is caught by industrial scale fisheries methods like trawling and purse netting. Another advantage in choosing fish which is locally caught is the reduction in the transportation cost and the reduction in the carbon footprint in general. And the fourth thing that one can advise, when you start looking at breeding seasons of this fish, you realize that different fish breeds in different seasons, and ideally if these fish can get fishing rest during the season in which they breed, there are a lot of, I mean, there would be a considerable impact on the production of fish or the reproduction of the fish. So Know Your Fish has put together this calendar which for west coast of India, which tells you at what time which fish to eat and which fish to avoid. Know Your Fish is not the only option you have. There is another option called in season fish, which is also available.
Now I'm pretty sure that many would want to know what will happen if none of these changes are brought about.
If the fishing is continued in a way it is happening now, a lot of fish which we eat commonly today start becoming rare and rare, start becoming costlier and costlier, and as a result it kind of go away from our reach not just in terms of availability, but in terms of monetary reach as well. That means we can't afford it basically.
All those fish eaters who cannot do without fish, considering the breeding season would be a good start. Do download the calendar and share it with your friends and family who cannot equally do without fish. Thanks for watching. That's it for today. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye bye.